All right, so before we get started, I just want to make sure I've got all this straight. You planted underground churches in China. You traded wells to free pygmy slaves in the Congo. And now you're part of the biggest well project in the world. And you did all of this out of your small pump shop in Oklahoma. How did all this happen?
It's a long story. My wife Terri and I were living pretty conventional lives.
We were an ordinary family, 2 kids, a dog, a cat.
We'd worked at our water pump company, Pumps of Oklahoma, for our entire life. We were the experts on water pumps in Oklahoma. We pretty much had it locked in for the next 30 years on what exactly this was going to look like. Building the company, have a little bit extra money, and then just set our lives up for this easy glide path into retirement.
One day, one of our customers came into the shop.
He said, well, I just flew in from Taiwan. And I said, what were you doing in Taiwan? He goes, well, I was planting churches. And in the most sanctimonious voice and tone that I could muster, I said, well, I'd like to go on a mission trip sometime, knowing that I really didn't want to go on a mission trip ever. And he said, so Dick, you have solar-powered pumps. We could go into mainland China, and then we could go plant churches, and we could end up getting water to these people. It's scaring the heck out of me right now, because I don't want to go to China and plant churches. I was just saying that because that's what church people do. 4 months later, I'm in southern China, in a really remote village. We're able to install 2 solar pumps where they've never had running water to see what happens when people get clean water, where little girls can go to school because there actually is sanitation facilities at their school. Transforms the whole community.
When Dick got back, it was obvious that there was so much need in the world. God had placed us where we were in the kind of business that we were in. We knew that it wasn't accidental.
From that point on, the safe, easy glide path to retirement wasn't going to be there. So after one of our trips, we determined that solar pumps are too high tech. We needed to invent a new type of hand pump. And so I thought of my old college roommate, Steve. And I hadn't talked to him in probably 2 years. I came in Monday morning, checked my voicemail, and it's Steve. And he goes, well, my pump went out in my granite shop. And I go, well, forget that. I've been to China 3 times. I've been to Sierra Leone. I need help inventing a hand pump. We met for lunch, and I told him it had to be able to pump water 80 to 100 feet deep, be built in country, less than $100 in cost. And oh, by the way, I needed it in 3 months. And he goes, yeah, I'll start tomorrow. So Steve finds a drawing from Leonardo da Vinci from 1498. A couple days later, he finds a patent from England from 1675. He combines the 2 drawings, and we end up with the Access 1.2 hand pump, which is the pump that we're using today. And the cost is $20. At that point, we created a new manual drilling method made in-country by the in-country people.
We started training and mentoring teams all over the world. If we could help people start their own drilling businesses, their own pump repair businesses, as soon as they were trained, they would just take it from there and solve the water crisis in their communities.
We said yes to every project that we came across, and we just kept seeing God show up in every place. Over the course of 10 years now, we've gotten water to 1 million people. We've drilled 3,200 wells. We've spoken at the United Nations. We're working on the largest freshwater project in the world, the 7,000 well project. We've been to 32 different countries. We have 350 business partners that we work with around the world every single day that get up and start drilling wells so they can feed their families, so they can be the solution to their own village's problems. Quite often, we ask ourselves, how did we get here? It all started just with saying yes to the things that were right in front of us, that are in our everyday life.
The only reason it works is because God makes it work. He takes the little that you have and makes it much.